Hi, this is Greg and welcome to the Welsh-American channel. Behind me is the memorial and death location of Meriwether Lewis, an American of Welsh descent. And we're going to go up there and take a look at his monument, which is actually quite unique, and we'll be talking about it once we get up there. So let's go. Meriwether Lewis was a great American explorer, soldier, politician, and public administrator of Welsh descent. As an explorer, his studies, research, and writing paved the way for the American nation to boldly move westward. Before we look at the monument closely, here's a brief biography of Meriwether Lewis. Lewis was the son of William Lewis and Lucy Meriwether. It was Meriwether's great-great-grandfather, Major John Lewis, who emigrated to North America from Wales in 1653. Major John was born in 1633 in a small village near Abergavenny in Monmouthshire, Wales. On April 1, 1801, Lewis was appointed as secretary to the president by President Thomas Jefferson, whom he knew through Virginia society in Albemarle County. Lewis resided in the presidential mansion, frequently conversing with prominent figures in politics, the arts, and other topics. When Jefferson began to plan for an expedition across the continent, he chose Lewis to lead the expedition. Meriwether Lewis then recruited his old friend William Clark, then aged 33, to share command of the expedition. This aptly named Corps of Discovery was a specially established unit of the United States Army that formed the nucleus of the Lewis and Clark expedition that took place between May of 1804 and September of 1806. The expedition was a complete success. The success of their journey helped to strengthen the American concept of manifest destiny, the idea that the United States was destined to reach all the way across North America from the Atlantic to the Pacific. In 1807, Jefferson appointed him governor of the Louisiana Territory, and he settled in St. Louis. Unfortunately, Lewis's record as an administrator is mixed. On September 3, 1809, Lewis set out for Washington, D.C. He hoped to clear his name and resolve some issues regarding the government's denied payments and expenses he submitted while serving as governor of the Upper Louisiana Territory, leaving him in tremendous debt. He intended to travel to Washington by ship from New Orleans, but changed his plans while floating down the Mississippi River from St. Louis. He disembarked and decided instead to make an overland journey via the Natchez Trace and then east to Washington. The Natchez Trace was an old pioneer road between Natchez, Mississippi and Nashville, Tennessee. It was not unusual for robbers to prey upon travelers on that road and sometimes kill their victims. October 10, 1809, Lewis stopped at an inn on the Natchez Trace, originally called Griner's Stand and later called Grinder's Stand, about 70 miles southwest of Nashville. After dinner, he retired to his one-room cabin. In the predawn hours of October 11th, the innkeeper's wife, Priscilla Griner, heard gunshots. Servants found Lewis badly injured from multiple gunshot wounds, one each to his head and gut. He bled out on his buffalo hide robe and died shortly after sunrise. To this day, there is a lot of controversy and debate on whether Lewis's death was a murder or a suicide. Lewis was buried near present-day Hohenwald, Tennessee, near his place of death. His grave was located about 200 yards from Grinder's Stand alongside the Natchez Trace. At first, the grave was unmarked. Alexander Wilson, an ornithologist and friend of Lewis, visited the grave in May of 1810 during a trip to New Orleans to sell his drawings. He wrote that he gave the innkeeper Robert Griner money to erect a fence around the grave to protect it from animals. The state of Tennessee erected a monument over Lewis's grave in 1848. A stonemason from Columbia, Tennessee, chose the design of a broken column commonly used at the time to symbolize a life cut short. Lewis died at age 35. In September of 1905, an article in a local magazine called attention to Lewis's abandoned and overgrown grave. After the gravesite fell into disrepair, a county road worker took the initiative to open a road to the cemetery. Thereafter, a local Tennessee Meriwether Lewis Monument Committee was soon formed to push for restoring Lewis's gravesite. In 1925, in response to the committee's work, President Calvin Coolidge designated Lewis's grave as the 5th national monument in the South. The monument is part of the Pioneer Cemetery that was first started in 1856, 47 years after Meriwether Lewis died and was buried. There are roughly 100 burials in the Pioneer Cemetery today. The memorial itself is simple and certainly not overstated. It has a pyramid shape with a broken column on top of it. Some of the lettering on the sides of the monument is eroding due to weather and time. Here are what the 4 sides of the monument have inscribed on them. Side 1. Meriwether Lewis, born near Charlottesville, Virginia, August 18th, 1774, died October 11th, 1809, aged 35 years. Here's what it says in the second side. An officer of the regular army, private secretary to President Jefferson, commander of the expedition to the Oregon in 1803 to 1806, governor of the territory of Louisiana. His melancholy death occurred where this monument now stands, and under which rest his mortal remains. On side 3, it says, quote, in the language of Mr. Jefferson, his courage was undaunted. His firmness and perseverance yielded to nothing but impossibilities. A rigid disciplinarian, yet tender, as the father of those committed to his charge. Honest, disinterested liberal with a sound understanding and a scrupulous fidelity of truth. On the 4th side, which is the north side of Lewis's tombstone, the top portion has a Latin inscription. Thomas Jefferson is credited by some with the inscription on this side of Lewis's tombstone, and here, translated into English, is what it says. Quote, I died before my time, but thou, O great and good Republic, live out my years while you live out your own. End of quote. Underneath the inscription reads, erected by the legislature of Tennessee, A.D. 1848. For many years, Lewis's legacy was overlooked, inaccurately measured, and somewhat tarnished by his alleged suicide. Yet his contributions to science, the exploration of the western U.S., and his place among some of the greatest of the world's explorers are considered immense. Today, Lewis is honored by many American cities and geographic locations bearing his name. Educational institutions and military vessels are named after him. Coins, postage stamps, and even species of plants are named as part of his legacy. May his legacy last for many generations to come. If you want to know more about the life of Meriwether Lewis, check out our full video entitled Meriwether Lewis, Welsh-American Captain of the Lewis and Clark Expedition. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and please feel free to make any comments below. If you would like to see more biographies of leading Welsh Americans, give us a like. And if you have an individual you would like us to showcase, let me know in the comments below. This is Greg Thomas saying Hoylem Nower. Bye for now.